Hi, I am live. A little bit late. It's a snow day live for me. So we are hoping it's going to melt away enough that life can kind of resume soon. Yeah. So I've got my little baby doggy here. Anyway, excited to be here with y'all. If you have questions that you would like for me to answer during this live, I just kind of jumped on today. Yes, it's a snow day, but I am working hard on different projects. So, did not get any of the ones that were, thank you for letting me know, you can hear me, did not get any of the ones that were asked ahead of time. But if you would like to ask questions for future lives or that I may answer on the podcast, you can go to AskDanaKWhite.com and submit questions there. So, it is not currently snowy. Wait, somebody asked, is it snowy now in Texas? No, it is not currently snowy. And honestly, we did have, it looks like snow, but it's really just like solid ice that we had. So, like not fluff, no fluff whatsoever, just like solid, hard ice. Almost looks fake, like looked fake, but it's not fake. So yeah, that's what we had. So here we go. Let's see. If you have a question and you would like for me to answer your question, go ahead and put the 3 question marks at the beginning, just so that I will notice it. So I will, as questions go and comments, y'all are so great. Oh my goodness. Mary Ellen says that they had 18 to 19 inches of snow. Wow. That's amazing. I did, our house that we live in now is out in the country, and it's actually in the area where when we had that huge week-long, everything was frozen and it was really, really bad in Texas. This area where the house is was one of the areas that was without power for like over a week. I don't know exactly how long, but anyway, really long time. So I was a little nervous, but we've actually kept our power. I think we had one quick flick off, but yeah. So, all right, here we go. Any questions that y'all have on decluttering? I do want to make sure y'all know I ran inside. That's one of the reasons I was a little bit late. I ran inside to get a copy of my latest exciting project. Look how cute she is. So, I always as a kid wanted to be the teacher I always wanted to be the teacher in every situation. That was always my goal. I was like, why do I have to go to 2nd grade? Why can't I just stay in 1st grade and be the teacher? Anyway, but I loved the holding thing. Like, how cute is this? Right? Sarah Jennings is my illustrator. Yeah. Like, it's just the cutest thing. So anyway, this comes out February 17th, which is getting really, really close. If you want to pre-order and grab some adorable printables of my 5-step process, go to aslobcomesclean.com/Winnie, because it's Winnie's pile of pillows. Winnie is a walrus, and grab a set of that. Okay. All right. Let's see if we have some questions. Let's see. Yay, I was just looking on Amazon at it. What are the gifts for pre-ordering? Yes. So the gifts for pre-ordering they're at aslobcomesclean.com/Winnie. So you can see them there. There is a very adorable, like booklet with a maze and stuff like that the publisher put together. And then my assistant Candace put together a kids version. So the wording is a little bit more kid friendly, and the pictures are illustrations from the book, printable of the 5-step decluttering process, and also a kid-friendly version of the, my goodness, why is my brain not working? This is not good for a live, of the flow chart. Okay. Which I know a lot of y'all really love the flow chart. So anyway, yeah. If you want to order just for the printable, that's fine. You could donate it to a local school. You could whatever. This is adorable. It's one of those to have on your shelf for just in case kids end up in your house at some point. I always, even before I had kids, I like to have a little section of, books and toys, and it's just kind of a small basket for other people's kids. Okay. Question. You need to declutter, but you're feeling down. Any advice? Yes. Absolutely. The feeling down, mental health, whether it's like to an extreme or it's just kind of a, blues. I'm not a mental health professional, but however you would define it, that does often make it feel harder to get started. Also, the mess or the clutter, the being harder to function in your home because of the level of stuff can often be a thing that contributes to that feeling. And so it's kind of this bad, vicious circle, right? So the advice that I have that is I'm not a mental health professional, but what I know for myself and for so many of you who let me know what does and doesn't work for you, the best thing that I have found to start to build momentum, right? Like to kind of shift from the feeling down and start to build momentum in the other direction. Because that's often what that's what so many of us are desperate for. That's what I was desperate for. And having a time where you're feeling down makes that feel even more mythical and more difficult to attain. And so what my best advice is on getting yourself motivated, on getting a little bit of momentum, is to identify the smallest possible thing that you can do completely. Okay. And I mean, like, take out all these visions of all the things that you have to do, the big, huge list that's in your head, even if you haven't written it down. Don't consider that. Say, what is one thing that I already know needs to be done? Meaning, I'm not going to expend any decision-making energy, any emotional energy on figuring out what to do. I'm just going to say, what is something I already know needs to be done that I can do completely? What's the smallest thing? Okay. So I had a video on how to get motivated to declutter. It's been probably a year and a half or so ago. And you can go watch that for sure. But the example that I gave was, like, let's say that this surface is just a messy surface, right? And you're like, there's so many things to do, but I'm just going to identify one thing. And on that surface, one thing I can do completely that I already know to do was to move the dog leash into the dog supply basket that it was sitting right next to. Right. And so many times, especially when you're already down, it starts to feel like, well, what is the point of that? Like, that's not going to make a difference. But it does make a difference because it is a tiny little bit of progress. And it's one thing, a very small thing that I can do completely. It's done. Once the dog leash is in the basket that it was sitting next to, that is something done. And then the key is to count every tiny little thing as success. Count it as success to just have done one thing. And then let that feeling of success build to the next thing of, okay, what is something else? Because so many times in decluttering, that's one of the things I'm talking about this podcast is in this podcast that comes out on Thursday, is so many times especially when you're kind of in a funk or you're feeling down, the vast majority of things are things that if I take a moment to ask myself, what do I already know has to be done? I do already know that a lot of things, a lot of the things have to be done. And so working on just those things is really, really powerful. Okay. Okay. Now we've got lots of questions. All right, here we go. Let's see. Just moved to a new house. I did not put stuff in the kitchen yet. They are still in boxes and procrastinating. How should I start since I did not have a working kitchen before? Well, how exciting to have a working kitchen now. That's wonderful. Okay, so remember that when we ask the question, where would I look for it first? It is specifically for things that I don't know where they go. Okay. And that is the thing that is really hard when you're moving or you're into a new situation where you're like, I have a kitchen now. Blah! Oh my goodness. I didn't have a working kitchen before. And so now I don't have any established places. Well, anything that's already established that I already know where it goes, that goes out in step 2, the easy stuff. Like we were just talking about with, being down, the things to focus on. You are at the point where nothing's easy, but we still have a process for how to go about this. And that is you pick up one item out of the box and you ask yourself, if I needed this whisk, where would I look for it first? And it feels a little bit weird in the beginning because you're like, well, I haven't had a whisk in a kitchen in years or maybe ever in your adult life or whatever. But I am specifically asking myself this question as if I was looking for a whisk, knowing I've got a whisk, but having no idea where it is. That's the situation that I'm asking this question about. Like, I don't know where a whisk would be. But if I was looking for a whisk and I was in my kitchen, which drawer would I open first to look for a whisk? That's where it needs to go. Okay. So remembering that question, where would I look for it first, is designed for the stuff that you don't have established homes for, which is ideal for your situation. What do you like to use when writing books? A platform or two you like? Nonfiction books are hard. This is not a story with a plot. It's hard. I mean, fiction books are really hard too, and I haven't written them, so I wouldn't know. But yes, I actually don't. I know there's a lot of people who love things like Scrivener and stuff like that. I just write in a Word document. I do use a spreadsheet. I'm real big on the spreadsheets of writing out the chapter titles and, kind of brainstorming chapter titles into the spreadsheet so that I can then have a column for the word count so that I can kind of keep track that they're staying even and where I am in my overall word count. So I hope that's helpful. I don't have anything fancy. Let's see. I just started reading your oldest blog post. Yay. Since you started figuring this out on your own so long ago, do you have any advice you gave people that you now regret or would word differently? I probably do. Off the top of my head, though, I'm trying to think. I will say, though, and if you're starting to read the oldest blog posts, I hope you get the vibe that I was not giving any advice at that point. Yeah, like it was those early blog posts starting in 2009 were just me journaling what I was doing, what I was figuring out, how it was working. I'm trying to think. I feel like there is something that I've thought of recently that I'm like, I probably worded it like this before, and now I word it like this. I can't think of it right now. Sorry. Let's see. On this, there are things like, I know there are a couple of things that sometimes my assistant will put into our spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets. Put into our spreadsheet of things we're going to put out on Facebook or whatever, that I'll be like, oh, no, don't do that one. And one thing I can think of is, I know I had a post where I was like, I'm never going to put anything on the dining room table. I can't handle putting anything on the dining room table. And yeah, I'm like, no, don't do that one anymore because I don't stick to that very well. So let's see. Small 1-floor apartment. Living room is also guest room one time a year. Question. Small dressers should stay empty for guests, or for your method, I can move things from there when people visit. Okay. So my best advice on this situation is to make the living room the living room. And instead of thinking of it as it's a living room and a guest room, even if you were going to tell me that once a month people come and stay, even if that was the situation, I would still advise that you define it as a living room. And so it has to function completely as a living room. That doesn't mean guests can't stay there. It doesn't mean that you can't, empty out a drawer or two for guests when they come. But it needs to function as completely and totally as a living room where guests sleep for this. So it's like you might do some arranging or whatever for the once a year when they come, but they are sleeping in the living room, right? As opposed to this is my living room / guest room. And so you might, bring in a little box or something or a bin for them that they can have, that maybe has your bedding in it the rest of the year. Like, where do you store the bedding? Okay, well, where you look for it first, right? But that bedding bin that you would have, maybe that bin becomes, this is where I have for you to put your stuff while you're here, that kind of a thing. All right. Oh, that's sweet. Breakfast dishes washed, going to thaw some pre-cooked ground beef, then start on laundry. Thanks for all you do. I love it. I love it. Pre-cooked ground beef is the best. That's funny. Okay. I feel like I'm clicking on things that are not questions. All right, there we go. I want to declutter, but I got so many started projects that are time consuming. I want to finish them, but it feels so overwhelming. What to do? Okay. So I will say that finishing a project does count as decluttering. However, that would be in the fourth step of decluttering. So in the take it there now, like that's part of it, is like completing what needs to be done for this thing to be able to go to its final home. But there's a lot to do before you ever get to that. So what I would say in your situation is to start with the trash. So I have my 5-step decluttering process. I know we always have new people here. I have my 5-step no mess decluttering process. If you start, that I recommend, again, this is what this week's podcast will be about, but I recommend that you always start with step 1. So many times it's tempting to jump to step 4 and start trying to make hard decisions. Steps 1 through 3 involve 0 decisions. No decisions to be made at all. Therefore, you can make a lot of progress that has nothing to do with these started projects. These started projects are a harder thing, but go to your most visible space and just start throwing away trash and look for easy stuff that you do know what to do with that can go straight to its home. That's not part of a started project. Go to, look for obvious donations. Those are those first 3 steps. If you will zero in on just doing those first 3 steps, it's going to give you real progress and success. It's going to start shifting your mind on a lot of these things. It's going to improve your home significantly just getting through those first 3 steps. In any space, in all your space, if you do those first 3 steps in the most visible area, and then you're like, well, now there's the projects in here to do. Okay, I'm going to go to the next area and just do those first 3 steps. Really zero in on those, because those are things that need to be done, that it's very easy to jump to this situation with projects that's going to take, that's going to be hard. But this situation with projects is going to look completely different to you once you've gotten those first 3 steps done. I have so much stuff I can't make a dent, like you can't walk through my house. Suggestions. Yes. So what I would do is start in the most visible space, meaning the place where someone would come into your house if they came into your house, like the front door, or I always say the place where they would come in, because my in-laws, everybody came in through the garage. Like, you only knew that people we didn't know were coming to the front door, right? So wherever people would enter your home, go to that space, because you need a place to start. If the whole house is in this situation, you need a place to start. So this is your place to start. Your place to start is the most visible space where people would enter. Okay. Go to that spot, knowing that you have so much stuff I can't make a dent, I can't walk through. The only answer is decluttering, meaning stuff is going to have to leave your house. There is simply not enough space. If you haven't watched my video on the container concept, and watch it all the way so that you can see how it goes and applies to the entire house. That's, if you just click on my name, it should be it's like the main, intro video or whatever to my channel. Go watch that to get that idea of, okay, space is finite. If I try to keep more stuff than space, there is no hope of it ever being under control. Decluttering is the only answer. So go hard on obvious trash. And I know that it may be hard to identify obvious trash, but go hard on looking for it. Say, I'm going to look for it, but only throw away what you can see and access without making piles or moving things around. So things from the top of the pile, and you're like, this is where I am. This is what I'm going to do. Obvious trash. And then, is there anything here that I do know what to do with it? Like somehow my casserole dish that somebody had returned, and I just kind of set it by the front door instead of actually taking it. Oh, okay. That I know. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go take it, to be washed, whatever. Then this, don't y'all always rewash something when somebody gives you something back? I do trust people, but I'm like, what molecules got on it on the way here? You know what I mean? Anyway, or if it's been sitting in my house in a pile for a while, it's dusty. So go ahead and take it there, because you already know what to do with it. And I know it feels like, no, it's going to be so hard. I'm just telling you, you are going to find, if you look for it, you are going to find trash and you're going to find easy stuff. And then look for obvious donations. Go so hard on the obvious donations, knowing that the only answer to this problem is to have less stuff, which means stuff has got to leave the house, which means the more stuff that I can just stick straight in a donate box, the better. And then continue through my 5-step decluttering process, looking at this space. I do recommend that you get Decluttering at the Speed of Life, maybe the audio version, y'all, right now. And I always hesitate to tell these things because then people are asking me all these questions and I'm like, I don't get it. But anyway, if you are an Audible member, you can get Decluttering at the Speed of Life and another book from a list of things, which had some good books. Like I got 2 books from there as well, for 1 credit. So that's a good deal. Also, my most recent book, Jesus Doesn't Care About Your Messy House, is on sale on Audible right now. But again, that one is the one where it's costs less than a credit. So you kind of got to look around because they're going to want you to use a credit or sign up to be an Audible. Anyway, so it's too confusing. That's why I don't usually say a lot of stuff, because I don't have all the answers. Anyway, that would be my recommendation for this. Let's see. Thank you. She said she loves the wall picks. Those are mixed tiles. And I love them. Like I think I probably have 60 in this room or something. It's like our game room. And they're like the kinds of pictures that are on, like, that I post on my personal Facebook and stuff, so it's like fun family candid pictures. I love them. Let's see. I love this. Amber, hey, sign up for a course with one of Dana's coaches. Mine still has spots open. I know a lot of others do too. It's an opportunity to learn and get personal answers. This is I'm glad you reminded me, because this is one of the things I was going to talk about. A slob comes clean. No. Declutteringcoaches.com/class. Yes. So my decluttering coaches, I have trained and certified decluttering coaches. I have trained them to guide you through my method and to be able to answer your questions. 18 of them are offering classes, live once a week classes, that you can go see at declutteringcoaches.com/class and find a time that works for you. They're at all different times, but they will, like, if somebody is meeting at 6:00 Eastern time on Monday night and that works for you, they're going to meet for 6 weeks in a row at 6:00 Monday night Eastern time. And most of them are starting beginning of February. So that's next week. But how is that next week? Anyway, this is a curriculum that we have created based on Decluttering at the Speed of Life. So the beauty of it is a live class. You'll have discussion with other class members, And you don't have to be on camera if you don't want to, but you have that opportunity and you can ask your instructor, your coach, questions about your personal situation. So declutteringcoaches.com/class. I do know we are having some sort of a technical difficulty when you click on the coach biographies. For some people, it's working great. For other people, like my computer, it's just going straight to the top of that page. And so we are working on that right now, trying to get that fixed. But you can always find the coach biographies by going over to find a coach, and you'll find those same coaches' biographies. Okay, let's see. Do any decluttering coaches specialize working with teens and preteens? Can that be filtered for when selecting someone to work with? I'm thinking my kiddo would do best with a non-family member. We do have a lot of things that filter, like their specialties. I will say all of my coaches are wonderful. We had a coaches retreat at my home last year. And so I got to meet and spend time with like 16 of my coaches, and they are the best. They are lovely, lovely, lovely people. And I know that several of our coaches are former educators. Or some of them are current educators as well. So I'm sure they would be great with this. That is a good idea to filter according to that, because yes, I agree. I think it could be very helpful. Let's see. What are my thoughts on filing cabinets? Okay, let's see. What are my thoughts on filing cabinets? I think that they are the very last step of decluttering paper. Okay. I say that as someone, I used to think they were the answer. And so I would buy another one, and boy, are they unwieldy and difficult to move around. Right. But, if you are overwhelmed by paper, number one, set up a system for the paper that's coming in. Number two, go through after you have done that and started to get a feel for, and a minimal system. I have a video, just put into YouTube, Dana K. White paper, and you'll find it. But a minimal system, meaning I only use 3 categories, and then go through existing paper, and you will get rid of the vast majority of it. And for me, that's all I really need, right? Like it's just that 3 system thing. And then after a year, when, the stuff that is the year stuff that we need to keep, then that goes into a bin, but I don't really want a big old filing cabinet in my house. So, but the problem is, for the person overwhelmed with paper, it is often an automatic reaction that I must need a filing cabinet. And then you look at the amount of paper and you think, well, I must need a really, really big filing cabinet. Declutter first. Let's see. I'm a mom of 3. Oldest has special needs. I will, in a professional licensing program, struggling to find time to study and take care of home and kids. Any time and anxiety management tips. I do not give anxiety management tips. I'm not a mental health professional, but as far as a home, when you have that much going on, your clutter threshold is naturally going to be very low. Remember that a clutter threshold is not your preference for stuff. It is literally, what can you handle? You've got so many things going on right now that the less stuff that you have, the easier it's going to be, because so really going hard on the decluttering using the no mess process, because you don't have a lot of time, right? And so that the no mess process allows you to make real decluttering progress in whatever time you have. And if you have to stop because, oh my goodness, I just realized I have to study for this thing or whatever, you can, because you've never put yourself in a position where you're worse than you were when you started. So going hard on that and really, really simplifying. It might be a thing that you could do very quickly is box up or declutter what you can, and then box up the rest and go, we're going to have 1 plate per person. And I know that feels like, oh, that sounds stressful. It's shocking the amount of stress that relieves when, let's say you have mom of 3. So you have at least what, like 4 people in your house. And if you have 4 people in your house and you have 4 plates, the most dirty dishes that you can possibly have are 4 plates. This is what I do when I am zeroing in on a book project, like when I travel, go to an Airbnb and I just like everything else. And I don't have time to worry about anything else. My whole goal is to use 1 coffee cup and 1 spoon, and that's it. So I will eat my cereal out of that cup. I'll eat my oatmeal out of that cup. I'll have my ice cream out of that cup. I'll have soup out of that cup, whatever. And yes, I'm washing that cup over and over and over, but I'm only ever washing the cup, and there are never dirty dishes in the sink other than that 1 cup. And that's it. And it's amazing how really just zeroing in on simplifying is so powerful in these high stress times. Let's see. Advice for when you aren't making fast enough progress for your family members. I started in the visible areas, but never seem to get to the rest of the house. Make sure that you are really decluttering and not stuff shifting. I would say zero in on that. And because that's how you're going to really be able to move to the next areas that you want to get to, because it's not just I moved things. Oh, okay, these are not going to go here, so I just stick them over here. Well, then they're just going to drift right back. And that is really, really, that halts the progress. On your Monday laundry day, do you tackle other big tasks? I know you do your daily like dishes. So yeah, I mean, to be honest now, it's just my husband and I. And so we kind of just do loads as we need to, or let me just be really honest. He does a lot of it because he's great about, like, he's been doing that during this whole ice storm. But when I was doing the Monday laundry day, that was my number 1 focus for the day. That was my focus for the day. Obviously, I could do anything else, because you put the laundry in and you've got at least 30, 45 minutes of, nothing that you actively need to be doing. But because laundry day was my focus and I gave myself permission to say, this is the task for the day, then that kept me on the fold it straight out of the dryer, get it put away so that it doesn't end up being, a big thing where I've got this huge, love seat full of clean clothes at the end of the day that I have to deal with. But you can do anything else. And if you're doing the no mess decluttering process, then that's a great, I would often work on a decluttering thing or work on something over here, because I was doing things in a way where, oh, the timer went off on the washing machine. Okay, I can stop and go do that. And even if I never come back to this space, I've only made progress because I was following the no mess process. Let's see. I love it. Love your method. I try it on everything now, not just decluttering. Yay. Let's see. During the all day declutter, which was something with the Take Your House Back course, which is not on sale right now. But it'll go back on sale in a couple of months. Cass told us all to throw something good in the trash. Can you weigh in on this? I absolutely see what she is saying. Like, I absolutely think this is good advice. Where I come in is I am always the person who says, what moves you forward? Because what I don't want to happen is for you to say, Cass said, I have to throw something good in the trash, and I can't throw something good in the trash. And her reasoning was, a lot of times we think things are good that are not actually trash. And there's so much reasoning, right? And I'm also not the one who said it. So, but what I will say is, if this keeps you from moving forward, throw it out. Only take advice that moves you forward. If you're able to do it, do it. Okay? Because the issue is that obsessing over things going to the very best place they can possibly go is absolutely wasted effort. And I agree with that completely. That's why I say I do not care where I donate, as long as they take everything. As long as I don't have to sort out different kinds of things to go to different places, that's who gets my donations. What I will say is, however you can get stuff out of the house, do it. If you're able to do this, I absolutely think you should give it a try, because you're going to find, oh, yes, it is possible. And that makes so much more progress. And the reality is, we all do need to be very aware of the fact that sometimes I think I see my own thing and I'm looking at it through this lens of memory of what it used to be. And I need to look at it as what it is now, because we don't need to be donating trash. So I need to look at things and realize, is this actually trash or not? Right? Okay, let's see. How do you keep going when progress is slow? Other than the momentum of decluttering itself, what other things keep you moving forward? I think that visible progress, really focusing on visibility, is so incredibly powerful, because it literally means that the places that I'm actually seeing and moving in, I pay attention to how much easier it is to function in the space than it used to be. And that keeps me going, is really giving credit to the decluttering for my life being so much easier to function in this space. The other thing too is, I would say, anytime you can take before and better pictures, meaning don't wait till it's done to take a picture. Just be like, hey, I'm taking a picture. And the before picture is the hardest one to take, because I myself will be like, oh, I bet you I'm not going to make that much progress this time. And so I'm not going to take one. And then I'll always wish that I took one, because I'm like, wow, I made more progress than I thought. But even if you don't make a ton of progress, if you take that before picture and then you're like, oh, I worked for 20 minutes, and then you can see the difference that 20 minutes made, and maybe it's slow, but it still makes a difference, and it makes you more willing to, keep going in the future. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. That was me in 23. I think we're talking about the not being able to walk through. Listening to Dana's podcast, doing exactly what she said. I have decluttered 200,000 items over the last 22 months. Now my home is so easy. And I'm out. That's all y'all need to hear, right? There you go. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Let's see. Can we get the narrations of your books in your voice on CD? Yeah. I mean, first of all, I don't actually control that, because I am with a publisher, right? Like these are not self-published. I don't actually have control over how they go out. But if you go to Amazon, there is the option to buy the audiobook on CD. It may take a while, because I think what they do is they like individually print that. Somebody asks for it and they individually print it. But I know that at least used to be an option. If it's not, then, but every royalty report, I always have, maybe 4 or 5 sales that way, so I know people are doing it. Let's see. I am clearing a space in my mom's old office. I need floor space for a treadmill ASAP, but there are boxes filled with unsorted memorabilia that has held me back for years. Garbage is gone, things taken there now, and in a bag for Goodwill. I was good, but now I'm overwhelmed, handshaking. Do I sort or just clear the space? Don't sort. Instead, go, where would I look for this memorabilia? And because it has to have a place, or it doesn't have a place. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds like it's your mom's memorabilia. And I don't know the situation. I don't know if she has passed. I don't know where you are in this, right? But if this is your house and it's your mom's old office and you need to put the treadmill in there for your right now life, then it becomes an issue of, where would I look for my mom's memorabilia? And that does not take up room that I need for my right now life, my actual life, which it's taking up room for that right now. So where would I look for it? Maybe it's the top shelf of that in the garage. Okay, that top shelf determines how much of that you can keep. So instead of looking through it and going, oh no, what do I do with all this stuff? Oh no, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I say, that's the space that I have for my mom's memorabilia. And then I am looking through these boxes, not sorting, but saying, oh yes, that deserves space up there. Oh yes, this deserves space up there. Okay, this deserves space up there. And everything that doesn't fit goes. And maybe you don't have a place for that, and you don't have a place for your mom's memorabilia because you're using up the spaces for what you need for your right now life, and you let that space make that hard decision to let those things go. Let's see. My 9-year-old son wants me to comment. He is very excited for Winnie. Yay! He wanted me to tell you that he started doing a 5-minute pickup daily in just his room, and he loves how clean it is all the time now. Well, that just makes me happy. This is she's talking about my book that comes out February 17th. Winnie's Pile of Pillows. Let me just I seriously feel like I can open it up to any random page and it's just adorable. So here we go. Just a random page. Cutest thing, right? Yay. I think somebody had asked if the name Winnie was anything special, but it just goes with walrus because I wanted it to be an animal. There we go. Let's see. Hello from the UK. Oh, I don't get into politics here. I will tell you, it's absolutely breaking my heart. And I am outside of the online stuff. I am doing everything I can do. Okay. Let's see. I have stacks of paper. Okay. I'm looking for things with question marks. There we go. How do you feel about using paper plates so there are no dishes? I think if you need to use paper plates to get you through a time period, absolutely you should do that. What happened with me, okay, was that when I focused on doing my dishes every day, all of a sudden, I wasn't using paper plates anymore. Okay. But I think it's whatever actually gets you to be able to function, do that. That's what you should do. Okay. And so really, if you're asking this question, a lot of times people are asking this question because they are like, oh, I don't want to be using paper plates. And I also, okay. So what I would say is, like I talked about before, limiting the number of plates that you have available to get dirty. For me, it was doing the dishes, and then that gave me the confidence that I could actually keep them done, which then gave me the confidence to declutter the vast majority of them, which then made it easier to keep them done. And so it was kind of this cycle, this circle of things. So what I would recommend is that you zero in on keeping your dishes done. That would be the first thing I would do. And then I think so I had a post, and one of my friends who read my blog early in the early days, and we've been friends forever. She would say, she was like, oh my goodness, because I had this post that I said, how to save money on paper plates. And she was like, I read that thinking I was going to learn how to save money on paper plates. And what you basically said was, once I started doing the dishes, I didn't buy paper plates anymore. I'm like, yeah, that's how to save money on paper plates. Purple plates. That's what keeps coming out. Okay. During the all day. Oh my goodness. Are we talking about this again? Okay. During the all day declutter, which vast majority of people here were not a part of that. Okay. So I know, anyway, there's a lot of recoil when Cass told people, told everyone to throw away something perfectly good. Okay. I've already answered that one. All right. Let's see. How do you get moving when you feel frozen when dealing with overwhelmed room? I want to declutter the garage, but I freeze. A lot of the stuff there is my mother's, but I can't get to my stuff. The way that I break through that feeling, the way I get started, the way I get moving when I feel frozen and stuck is starting with the trash. And I know it feels like none of this is trash because it's your mother's stuff, right? So you're like, this isn't trash. Look for the trash anyway. Look for anything in that space that is trash to get you going. So many times when you feel stuck, it's because you have not started at the beginning of the no mess decluttering process. Go back to the beginning. Anytime you feel stuck in the process, say, okay, I'm going to look for trash. And remember, it's decision-free trash. It's stuff you already know is trash. Okay, let's see. How do you deal with decluttering conflict when someone can't find something, assumes you must have decluttered it, and blames you? These are hard. I mean, like, it can happen, right? Like, it absolutely can happen. What I would say is, I mean, like, I'm sorry. I don't think I decluttered it. But also maybe I haven't gotten to it yet, like, I don't know. And also making sure that as you are decluttering, especially here in the beginning, if you're at the beginning, focus on your stuff first. Like, even if that means leaving something there that is something that somebody else would, consider to be theirs, leaving that there and skipping over it and keep it on going with just the things that you can do, because that's going to help so much in all of this conflict to gain some credibility along the way. Let's see. Any suggestion on where to put papers you want to go through later? Ads, articles, just toss them trash. Okay. So, the whole later thing is the thing that would get me super stuck, right? Like, I was always like, oh, I want to look at this later. I want to do this. Don't want to do this now. The first thing I would say is the same thing I would say for literally anything you ask me about where to put such and such. So you know what I'm going to say, right? If I needed this paper, and be specific. So if it's an ad for, the grocery store, if I needed the grocery store ad, where would I look for it first? Go to that spot. Is there any room for it there? Are there 15 other grocery store ads that are all expired now, and this is the one? And then let that spot be the container. So for me, what I did for a long time before I started doing the 3-category system, what I did was I had a paper-sized bin in the place where I would look for paper, and that was the container. And then that container determined how many things I could actually keep. Let's see. How do we get the pre-order bonuses for Winnie? My cute little book. She's so cute. Let's see. It is AskDanaKWhite.comoin/Winnie, WINNIE. That's where you're going to find out all the information about how to pre-order and how to claim the bonuses. Just remember that the bonuses do not come with the book. They are digital, that we are the ones who send those out. We have no way of knowing if you purchased it or where you purchased it unless you tell us at aslobcomesclean.com/Winnie. Let's see. Every time I go away from that, then it takes me away from all of these. Where I was. Lose my place. I am overwhelmed by kids' clothes. Tested it. We have clothes for 2 weeks, no washing, and some to spare. My husband thinks we don't have enough because laundry is always out of control. Okay, laundry day. That is the answer. And there is if you Google my laundry metamorphosis, Dana K. White, you will find the blog post where I lead you all the way through how I got to this decision of laundry day and how it works. I also have at least two videos here on YouTube. So you can just on YouTube, Google, or on YouTube, search Dana K. White laundry day, and it will explain how it works and why it works, because that is the issue, is the laundry routine. Let's see. Planning to move into a new home, decluttered some, but need to do more, but boxes are in storage now. How do I declutter best moving in? Okay, planning to move into a new home, decluttered some, but need to do more, but boxes are in storage now. How do I declutter best moving in? Whatever if you planning to move to a new home, declutter hard for the actual situation that you're living in right now. Okay, so it's like some boxes are in storage, but you can keep decluttering down. I mean, because especially if you're going to have to sell a house and have people coming in and looking at it, the less stuff you have, the better, the easier it's going to be to maintain it, all of that. So declutter hard in the actual situation, the actual space that you are in right now. Let's see. Do you have a clear system for sorting photos and memorabilia so I can jump back into it and have a clear vision of where to begin again? I do not. I do not have a system for that. There are great people out there who do have systems for this. So I definitely recommend, if you want a, photo decluttering system, that you go look for that. What I'm going to tell you is the same thing I tell you on anything. And that is, go through the process, look for trash. It's going to speed up and going to get easier, because as soon as you decide that I don't know who this classmate of my grandma's was, and so therefore I'm going to get rid of this picture, then all of a sudden that means a whole bunch of other things are now easy. Okay. Because you've done that. And then the space that you have is the space that you have. What space are you devoting? Can you devote to pictures, and let that be the deciding factor on what deserves to stay or go? But as far as the system, no, I don't. Let's see. What does my shirt say? It says, let's see. I don't always sing. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. Yeah, a friend bought me that. I don't know why she bought it for me. What do you do if nothing feels like an easy decision, or if there isn't enough easy stuff to make an impact and give you the energy or confidence to move on to the next steps? Pick up any item and say, if I needed my microwave popcorn bucket, where would I look first for my microwave popcorn bucket? Like, you can ask that about stuff that you will later think, well, that should have been easy. It's okay. If it wasn't easy, it wasn't easy. And so that's okay. So move on to the next thing and start asking that question, and then take it there now and go item by item slowly. And you're going to see and experience, oh, that makes a big difference. And yeah, let's see. Let's see. Okay. Struggling with, where would you look for it first for shared family items, batteries, pens, etc.? I would look one place first. My wife would look in another. How do we split the difference? So 2 things on this. If there is a place where you would look for batteries and a place where she would look for batteries, and there is space in both of those places, then you can have batteries in 2 places. I mean, that's fine, as long as there's room for that's not taking up the space that you need for other things. So it's fine. A lot of these little things like that can often have 2 places. The other thing I would say is, if I'm the one who gets asked, where are the such and such, before they ever even look for it, then it's where I would look for it first. If she's the one who gets asked, where is the such and such, before people ever even look for it, then it's where she would look for it first. That's how I do that. There you go. Okay. And I'm so sorry if I didn't answer your question. I tried to answer I think I answered all the questions that had question marks at the beginning. But a couple of things before we go. I just want to remind you, like I was talking about before, my decluttering coaches currently have, let's see, where am I? Are offering, 18 of the coaches are offering live classes, meaning these are not recorded for you to watch whenever. These are every week at this time for 6 weeks. We're going to show up and we're going to do 60 to 90 minutes of a lesson and discussion and talking through things. You're going to have no pressure homework, right? Because you're a grown up and you can do whatever you want, but you're going to have like, hey, do this over the course of the week. And then we'll talk about it and talk about what things you ran into, at the end of in next class period. You'll have a coach who you can talk and ask questions that you have about your unique situation. So declutteringcoaches.com/class. Go there. Like I said, we are having some technical difficulties today. You can still go sign up for one, but it's clicking on their coach bios that for some reason, some people can click on them and they go great. Some people just go straight back to the top, and we're trying to get that figured out. But that is, those are starting in February. So that's next week that most of those are starting. So go find you. I love my coaches. They're great. And also if you can hire a coach for an hour to, work with you either in person or virtually. Declutteringcoaches.com is where you find all of those. And don't forget, go pre-order Winnie, my sweet Winnie. My dream, of course, is to like have a stuffed animal Winnie, because that wouldn't be clutter, right? Anyway, love it. Okay. All right. I will talk to y'all next week. I should be here next week. Yeah.